So, all right. Good evening, everyone. My name is TJ, and I will be interviewing Alex, head coach of the Cambridge Camerupts of Premier League.
Hello,
Hi.
hello.
So, how is your weekend going so far, Alex?
It's been pretty good. A bit busy, but but not in a bad way. How about you?
Not too bad. Yeah, just chilling. Watched the movie Challengers yesterday, and
Oh, okay.
yeah,
How was it?
it was pretty good. Um, but I think people are gonna expect too much of the from the preview of a certain scandalous behavior, but it was I think it's a movie that you'll enjoy better if you look at it after than like while you're watching it because there's a lot of intense moments, but I think it was a well done movie overall. um, he's done some other movies before. I just haven't watched them like the director, but Tennis in Love, that's all I'll say.
Mm-hmm.
All right, this Iron Valiant's just gonna die. It's gonna die.
Poor guy.
Chime show my nemesis. Anyways,
Hmm.
so um, this season has been the fifth season Premier League, and you've been here from the beginning. So, uh, what's been what was your game plan going in for this season? I feel like you had a unique team, um, but you always do. That's what people like to see from you.
Yeah, I just kind of wanted to draft, I guess, a roster of strong Pokemon that meshed well together, but could also just kind of hold their own.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's was kind of what my strategy was. And there were a few select Pokemon that I knew from the beginning that I wanted to try out. So that's kind of what my game plan ended up being built around. Those two specifically were Raging Bolt and T-Tar. I think Raging Bolt's a very cool looking, very silly mon, but it
Yeah.
also hits like a truck. It's so strong. Um, and T-Tar is a Pokemon that's just really fun to use, and with it going to B and also getting knockoff, and of course being able to enable sand shenanigans,
Yeah.
that's essentially where everything started. Mega Lucario is also a Pokemon that I've really liked for a long time. I love Pokemon that hit like trucks, and that's
Yeah.
definitely Mega Lucario.
Yeah. I'm actually surprised that you're able to get it in the very last round. Were you surprised as well?
A little bit. I mean, you know how with Premier League, people try to figure out what everyone else is picking.
Of course. Of course.
So if I had known that someone else was planning on taking Mega Lucario, I definitely would have had to pick it earlier. But
Mm-hmm.
I think we had a few earlier S tier picks, which pretty much helped secure Mega Lucario.
Fair enough. So yeah, it's interesting because you have a Raging Bolt along with Tyranitar, and Tyranitar is obviously the Sand Setter, works well with obviously Houndstone and Stoutland, but Raging Bolt wasn't really one that benefits from Sun. But you said it's mostly because of you like the way it looks, and then like you said, it hits like a truck.
Yeah, I guess that's mostly why I picked it. I think it's a silly Pokemon. It's giraffe themed, of course. It's really strong. And I like that kind of like slow, powerful Volt Switch that it enables.
Yeah,
It actually does get Weather Ball, so it's not like it's completely
yeah,
useless instead.
yeah, yeah. I think that's what I was saying with like Danger West is like it really needs Weather Ball, I think, to be truly effective. Otherwise, it's just type coverage can get like limit itself, especially against like just one ground Pokemon.
Yep,
Um,
definitely.
and so one of the more interesting picks that you also made were like Clang and Rapidash Galarian, one of my favorite mons from back in season two. So was there a certain strategy in mind for like those two mons in particular?
Hmm. I'm not sure. Those were the two trades that I made for the very last trade deadline.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I had kind of forgotten to plan out trades in advance, so those were very like I was looking at basically the board 30 minutes before the deadline and was like, oh god, what am I going to do here?
Mm-hmm.
Um, I knew I wanted to make trades because I felt like I had to switch something up before finals started,
Mm-hmm.
before playoffs started.
Yeah.
I think the reason I went with those two is because Clang, I wanted a steel type that was actually bulky. My only steel was Mega Lucario.
Mm-hmm.
That's not really a bulky steel type. Um, and Clang definitely has bulk with Eviolite. It
Oh,
also gets
right.
that slow vault switch for pivoting because we love Pivot League.
Oh yeah. So for those of you who didn't really get to follow Premier League slash Pivot League, there it just became a point where like some games would just be like Volt Switch U turn, Volt Switch U turn between like whatever generator mons or pivots they wanted to use. I think it was the Gabo versus like Lucas match that really like was wild, so to speak.
Hmm.
Yeah.
And the thing I like about Clang is that it's also has that offensive sweeping potential, especially if you let it Terra Steel. It
Mm-hmm.
can hit really hard.
Yeah. Agreed.
And then with Galarian Rapidash, my other fairy type was Tapu Bulu. Of course, Tapu Bulu does not get a physical fairy move, so you
Oh
basically
yeah.
use it for the grass, the powerful wood hammer, not really so much the fairy coverage.
Yeah. I feel.
Um, sorry, go ahead.
No, no, go, no, no. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah, so I was gonna say I originally had Gramble, and Gramble was doing what it needed to, but I guess I picked Rapidash because it's faster, and also gave me a Psychic type, which I did not have previously.
Gotcha. Do you feel like Tapu Bulu finally got its value at C tier? I feel like I've been one of those people that feel that
Oh
it
yeah, Tapu
it,
Bulu was great.
it was not worth it at B tier, and it needed to drop because no one has been drafting it at all since like forever. So, um, I was glad to like see it finally get picked. I
The
did say it in
amount of
my mind.
damage that a choice banded Terra Grasswood Hammer does is criminal.
Yeah, makes sense. I guess it makes up for its slow speed, right? Oh gosh.
Yeah, it's a bit slow, but oh well.
So let's see here. So Premier League, as we said, like as I said to like countless people, is that it's the toughest league. Obviously Victory League's also very tough, but there's the people that have made it there and been there since the beginning, like people like Storm, Flygon, Pi, things like that. And of course the other newcomers. Who do you think was like your toughest match? I know this is like one of your best seasons that you've had so far.
Hmm. Toughest match. I think there's two that I'm thinking of off the top of my head.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and those two would be. Well, I guess actually there were my two losses during the season against Luke, the Denver Big Nuggets, and against Draftarig with the Lincoln Larvatars. They both played and prepped those matches really well. Um, I know Luca is basically down the whole game. Draftarig was pretty close at some points, but he made all the right moves to outmaneuver me. He definitely took advantage of my inability to not play those really long, drawn out matches very well.
Oh yeah, that's right. I remember it was like it was just a lot longer than I think it was like an hour for a match, right? But it's
Something
like,
like that.
oh my gosh.
It was pretty intense, but
Yep.
sometimes that's what you need to do.
Yep. Yep. And so, uh, what's it called? So now my other question would be then like, rather than talking about your most difficult match, like what was like your favorite match that you got to play with people, um, in this season? Like, there's always potential for fun using like sets that irregular sets like would I know you for, but like, what was like your favorite match that you had got to play with?
Hmm. Yeah, I have to go with. Is a cop out answer to pick two again.
Yeah, that's fine. It's cool. Yeah, it's tough.
Okay. The first one that comes to mind is my match against Pi. Um, sorry, Pi, but also shout out Pi because he's a really fun, player to play against.
Mm-hmm.
I think that match was enjoyable to me because I got to bring a lot of like somewhat unorthodox sets and that's a match that I didn't bring Mega Lucario to, and it was able to work out and sort of to my favor, I think. Um, and then the other match I liked was my last match of the regular season against Jelly. Again, sort of a similar reason. I got to bring some unorthodox sets that were pretty risky, but they worked out, and that was really what it enabled me to win the match.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's what people should always watch your matches for. Like the fact that you're able to use such sets, or unorthodox sets successfully. You know, obviously, like with the risk reward, but you tend to like able to get more rewards out of it than risks. Um, love to see it. So I know that Pi is one of those people that's been there since season one, and unfortunately, has not been able to stay alive this season. Any words of encouragement that you have for Pi as he jumps down and relegates become relegated to Victory League?
Oh, poor Pi. Um, Pi, I love you. I'll miss you. Don't forget about me. No, I'm just kidding. um, I don't know. I don't know if he needs my words of encouragement, but I guess they would be, have fun. I'm sure he doesn't need to hear that from me.
Yeah,
Have fun and do your best. That's very generic, but
yeah.
and maybe don't go too crazy on the strategy that you did this time.
What was his strategy for this season? I kind of forget now that you say that.
He wanted to draft a team that was basically very hard to prep against. So Pokemon that could be a lot of
Oh,
different types.
gotcha. That's the whole thing behind Wormadam and Oricorios, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh my god, that Wormadam will ever be one of my favorite moments in the server, if not season 5. I feel like
Yeah, that was great.
you actually got your Pokemon of the week this season, right? And I think was that your first one ever?
Yes.
Wow.
T-Tar, or Betty, as I should say.
Oh, so you're in the Betty crowd rather than the Tarny crowd.
I am in the Betty crowd. I'm sorry, Flygon, but Zach has convinced me. I think Betty's a cute name, and Betty
Hey.
won a championship. I don't think Tarny has.
That's totally fair now that you say that. Oh man. Shout out to Zach, one of my favorite people, bringing great nicknames. Um, so what did it feel like for you, getting that Pokemon of the week, after being here for like 5 seasons?
It was, it felt really nice. I'm kind of one of those players where I don't like to build teams that rely on sweeping as kind of like the win condition.
Yeah.
Um, my type of playstyle is usually hit hard with wall breakers and then like clean up at the end with something.
Mm-hmm.
So that doesn't usually lead to one Pokemon getting a lot of kills.
Mm-hmm.
Usually my kills get spread out a lot, which is nice. It's nice to have Pokemon that like it's nice to have the stats show that it was a team effort among all of your Pokemon.
Agreed.
Not that getting a sweep doesn't mean that's the case. You have to set up that situation still, but
Yeah.
yeah, so I didn't expect for a while to get a Pokemon of the week because I just don't often have a game where I have one Pokemon with like 4+ kills.
Mm-hmm.
So I was very happy, especially after last season where Hisui and Typhlosion was slightly robbed a little bit.
Um, so I didn't get to talk about your team, this part of your team, but like, which Pokemon do you feel like was your MVP if you did get to pick one?
Hmm, that's a tough question.
Yeah, no, yeah. I feel like your Pokemon, they all like played a role in it, so it's like hard to pick one singular mon. Like I'm just looking at the stats page and just like Bulu did really well, differential wise. Played in like half your games. Didn't play in the most games. And Lucario had like a played in 6 games, 9 kills. Also did really well. But
Yeah,
um,
I think maybe Mega Lucario, of course, was great, but
mm-hmm.
it's a very strong S+ tier, so people already know that. I
Yeah,
think I would have to give it to Bulu. I think the games it came to, it really was useful. It really showed its worth.
mm-hmm.
Raging Bolt was also very strong and in a similar boat.
Mm-hmm. That's fair. How am I doing?
You're stomping me in this match, TJ.
What's
This
that?
is yeah, I'm getting stomped in this match, TJ.
No, no. It's still anyone's game at this point. Um, I'm trying to think now. So, let's talk about your finals match. Congrats on becoming champion. This is your
Thank
first
you.
this is your first title, I believe, right? You made it to the finals before, but did not win.
Yes, and back in Sword League season
Two.
2, I guess that was,
Yep,
yeah.
season two. So you got to fight against the well-known Battlestorm, who's does really well in a lot of events. And he was also the one seed going into this. What was like your thoughts going into this match, um, like prepping wise and things like that, considering everything?
Yeah, hmm, that's a great question.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, Storm is a very good player. He's also a very fun player to play against.
Mm-hmm.
Not that there's many people in the server that like I would say are not fun players to play against. I would not say that about someone, but Storm is very creative with his sets, but very creative in like a way that
Yeah.
how do I say it? He has a use for everything, and you can really see that. So it's definitely a tough match to prep for. I think my strategy was just kind of to just try and have answers for his strongest threats and to be able to set up favorable situations
Mm-hmm.
for my strongest threats. Although I feel like saying that that's just kind of what you do in Pokemon in general. Maybe that's not a very intelligent answer.
No. Did you feel like Trick Room was definitely like something that you're like I gotta bring it against against the Storm.
Yeah, I'm gonna pull up the spreadsheet quickly. I'm trying to get back into my mindset like 3 weeks ago or
Yeah, I
whenever it
know.
was.
Yeah. That's totally fine. Take your time to pull that out.
Yeah, I was very worried about Mega Vinet. That thing has been an issue for a lot of people all season. So I basically had a full Stoutland set dedicated to countering Mega Vinet, but then it ended up not coming anyway, so
Oh, okay.
oh
Yeah,
well.
that's the draft league, right? Like you just prepare for a month,
Yeah.
they just won't show up.
Yeah, and I saw Storm's team has pretty big weaknesses to ground and ice, and his team is also very fast. Everything's faster than Piloswine, so I thought, Trick Room Piloswine could go really crazy here. And my only setter was Galarian Rapidash, but I think kind of the nice thing about having a setter like that is that it's not one of your. I mean, maybe you have similar different thoughts, being someone who uses Trick Room a lot.
Mm-hmm.
But like playing on something like a Slow King or like a Hatterini,
Yeah.
Trick Room is always something you have in the back of your mind as a possibility for that
Yeah.
Pokemon.
Yep.
But with something like Galarian Rapidash, you might not just think of it as a Trick Room setter looking
Agreed.
at it, which
Agreed.
can really work to your favor, I think.
Yeah. Like because it's so much faster than most mons, it's not gonna be something that people come up with initially for that reason. Um
Mm-hmm.
but and then it also has like a not a great utility like a healing wish, but like you said, people won't think of these types of things because it's not something that gets used a lot, very common. Um, what was I gonna say? So was Twilight Sparkle a reference at all to a to My Little Pony?
Of course. I haven't actually watched My Little Pony, but I like to have name references to it.
Okay.
Um, I think Keldeo I call Rainbow Dash.
Oh, okay. That's true. That's true. Cause like I named mine for that same reason. I was like I need to figure out like some My Little Pony reference, and like that was the one that just came to mind immediately. It's
Uh,
actually.
I think
Mm-hmm.
I think I probably had seen your nickname too at some point, and that probably helped inspire it.
Yeah, it was definitely fun to see it. It's actually a pretty fun show. low key fun show. When I have watched it, it's been a long time, but
That's what I've
um,
heard. Yeah.
oh man, Chime Cho, my nemesis. So for those of you who are listening
Oh,
and wondering why Chime Cho is my nemesis, is because last season I got swept by a Chime Cho, um, that used stored power, and I just had no phasers, so it just wrecked me.
oh, I forgot about that match.
Yep, but yeah.
And another thing about Storm's team is that I did not want to bring Sand against him because I thought his counters he just had too many good counters to Sand that I just didn't want to risk it.
I'm trying to like remember his team overall, because
He
like
picked up Auroras and Cacturn towards the end with trades. I'm like, okay,
yes.
this is very anti-Sand here.
Were you like surprised by like some of the moves that happened like during the match? I talked about it a little bit with Storm, and like I was surprised that he kept I think um Dragonite in, or like did the switch with Arc, or didn't move with Arc, like didn't switch out with Arcanine against your Mamoswine. But like, were you a little confused when that happened?
A little bit. With that one turn with the Dragonite against Piloswine,
Mm-hmm.
that was really tough. I kept going back and forth
Yeah.
and doing the thing on Showdown where you pick one move and you're like, wait, and you cancel. And you
Yeah.
pick the other move and you're like, wait, and you cancel.
Yep. Yep.
Um,
I definitely felt that like when I was watching. Like I wouldn't even know what I would do in that scenario, especially under Trick Room itself, because like you had the momentum, but like you know,
yeah,
and then you had the ground terra, so that like really like made things for sure set on Arcanine.
yeah. I think with that specific turn, well, those two turns, I
Mm-hmm.
think at first I was expecting the Arcanine switch.
Mm-hmm.
That seemed like the more likely play because the ice move would be the obvious one. Arcanine can of course take an ice move,
Mm-hmm.
and it would help stall out the Trick Room turns. But then I'm like, wait, since that's kind of the obvious switch, maybe I should not do that. And also, as I thought about it a little bit more, I realized that like if I press Earthquake and he does switch, of course that's good for me. But if he doesn't switch,
Mm-hmm.
that's a wasted move, and then Piloswine's dead, and then I'm kind of screwed.
Yeah.
If I do press Icicle Crash, the worst case is he switches to Arcanine, but I still have an alive Piloswine under Trick Room. So
Yeah.
that's essentially why I ended up doing the ice move.
Yeah. Um. So you're so what's interesting like in that match is that also that you brought more than one low tier, and you had a Clang actually. Were you surprised by how much work it did like overall in that match?
Yeah, I was. I was surprised also watching the happy hour back how many Clang fans we had.
Oh yeah, they're huge Clang fans, and um just
But I mean,
because
of course, I
It's an
can't
F
blame them.
tier.
Yeah, it's fun to watch those Pokemon put in some work. Um, yeah, I was pleasantly happy with how Clang did. It was a great answer to Sylveon, answer to Aurorus, which is a lot of what I wanted it for. Um,
Yeah.
and actually hit really hard too.
Oh, it hit really hard. Yeah, because I think you EV'd it physically, right? Which is what um I guess Storm wasn't expecting, but like had a feeling that's what it was after that first hit killed the Aurorus.
Yeah, it was max attack adamant.
Wow. So actually, we have a Boss Baby in the audience, one of your either haters or biggest fans. I haven't figured it out yet. I feel like I hear one thing from Daizook and Flygon, and then a different thing from Boss Baby. But shout out to Boss Baby. All right.
Boss baby. Hi.
No longer birthday baby. Hope you had a great birthday. A couple days ago. Uh, So Alex, you've been in the server since the beginning, and I think I'll talk uh about this before with Storm. What do you think of like how Draftarig has turned from like a BDSP server up until now?
I think it's been a lot of fun to watch the growth and really see. Whoop, there goes Dante's.
GG.
GG, TJ. Um, it's been a lot of fun to watch the growth. Very rewarding to see all the people interested in draft and hopefully enjoying themselves. It seems like they are, at least. Um, I have good memories, of course, of BDSP era as well. BDSP is not my favorite game, but
No.
it was a fun time. But I'm happy to keep seeing the server grow and keep meeting some really cool people.
Yeah. Yeah, it's crazy. Just like I tell people all the time, but it's just crazy to think how we started off at something that was on the Switch and then just became so much bigger than that. Um,
Hmm.
it's kind of sad. It's kind of sad to me that like you haven't really done as much Wi-Fi events with the Switch, but I feel like the way they do the time and like how much long it takes for Terra is just like it's ruined like Wi-Fi matches on the Switch for me at least. And maybe some other people as well. Um,
Yeah, the Knots event that was a few weeks ago, that was on the Switch, right?
yep, yep,
Okay.
yeah, it was.
Hopefully
Um,
we'll get to see some fun more events now that the major draft leagues are over.
yeah, yeah, I know that small tease like Gabo's got something in the works related to a ROM. I won't say which ROM because I don't remember the exact name, but that's something that's coming out. Is there any event that you want to plan to run, Alex, in the future?
Oh, I had an idea a while ago to do some kind of roulette battle tournament. I'm still not sure how feasible it would be. I think it could work. It would be a bit tricky, but roulette battles are one of my favorite ways to play on cart,
Oh man, that is
which
it is.
you know what a roulette battle is, right?
Yeah, so
Okay.
if I recall correctly, it's like there's a set number of mons that are available, and you get them randomly, correct?
Yes, you have. So in for roulette battles, you basically put all of your like battle ready Pokemon
Mm-hmm.
in a few boxes, and then you tell your opponent how many you have, and they do the same.
Mm-hmm.
And then you pick six numbers from one to that total, and
Mm-hmm.
that'll basically correspond with the Pokemon that your opponent has to use in the battle.
Oh
So
yeah.
you essentially are picking the Pokemon for your opponent to use, but you don't know what those numbers correspond with.
Yeah.
And likewise, your team gets picked by your opponent. So it's a fun way to really like do some crazy battles with a variety of Pokemon that may or may not have synergy together.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I think it's definitely like you said, it's like it's a fun way of doing like rand bats but on cart. I think like we
Hmm.
tried something similar in the past with like I think it was called Battle Factory, and that was like the closest we got
Right,
to
right.
it. Got
Another Battle Factory would be fun as well.
yeah. I think at least at that time, we had to use jetting a lot, but I mean, some hacking had to be done for like that type of event. We like really had no choice otherwise.
Yeah, G-Kit is crying, shaking right now.
Oh, G Kit. So for those of you who don't know, G Kit is the reason why we have a hacker emoji because she was very against um, Jenning. She's like, "Do you even love your Pokemon?" And some other like words such as that. But she actually came back, I think, like a year later, and we were just very confused. But she came back.
Yeah, that was funny. That was something.
Oh man. And so I think I asked this to Melly K Pie before. Are there any teams that you support in like other leagues? I know you got to uh DLC for like Wellspring, but like, are there any teams that you really liked outside of Premier League?
Hmm. Let's see.
Yeah, take it.
I don't want to choose favorites from my Wellspring children, but I love all of them equally. But it was very fun to see Booka's basically kind of like redemption arc, honestly, from the very beginning all the way to the finals. And also Knox as well. I put him power ranking 14th, and of course he showed me that I was wrong. And it was really a nice story to see those two teams play in the first week and then play again in the finals. That was really fun.
Agreed. Yeah, I got to talk to a Becca yesterday, and like you said before, like the fact that for those of you who don't know, Becca was the winner of the Wellspring League, and in week one lost to Knox, um, and then got to reface each other again in the finals. no trades were made from Becca's side. I don't think anywhere for like Nox. It was basically like another rematch, and it was a very exciting match. Honestly, it is probably one of the most exciting finals I've ever seen. Because um, I'm gonna like actually play it in the background for like those. If I can find it, God. Um,
Yeah, I guess while you're looking for that, what other teams? Shout out to Senda Bro in the chat here. Of course, shout out to Boss Baby, even if she thinks I'm just a lottery ticket. No, I'm kidding.
what do you think about the lottery ticket? Is that what started with you, by the way? I can't remember.
I started with Daizuk.
Oh, okay. But did it start after from your match? Is that what happened or no?
Um, I honestly don't know.
Okay. All right, I was trying to
I
think
think
that
he
over.
just made it up. So I don't remember any crazy RNG in my first match.
Gotcha.
Well, I guess what was it? My third match? Was that my match with Cabo? That, of course, had the very lucky game-winning crit
Mm-hmm.
for me at the end.
Oh
But I don't
man.
know if that's what spawned it. I think Daizuk just likes to cause chaos.
Oh, of course. He's definitely an agent of chaos wherever he is. So, if either if anyone in the audience is watching, I'm streaming the game, the championship from Wellspring League, and it gets interesting. Maybe like another 5 turns from now, but like it's gonna be like a 4v1. Um, what was I gonna say? So what was it like DLCing for Wellspring this league? I know every season's gonna be a different group of people, players, and stuff like that. But what was it like for Wellspring?
It was fun. We had um, a lot of great coaches, a lot of fun teams, a lot of fun matches. A few drops, which was not ideal, but
Yeah.
it's almost unavoidable at this point.
Oh, yep. Agreed.
But the people that were active throughout the whole season were um, really nice people.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I really like the teams that were drafted. I was looking when I was doing the draft rankings with Flygon at the very beginning. I was
Mm-hmm.
like, all these teams are very, very powerful, and a lot of these matches are just going to be like I don't know, like 20 turns, one kills the other team before they can kill
Mm-hmm.
the other team. But that's some fun Pokemon to watch.
Yeah, like
Like
I
here, we're in the finals match on turn 15. It's 4v1.
it's got honey. I think that's what boss baby calls her. And this thing just
hmm
went on an absolute tear. Um losing the ghost type was huge for Denver.
Yeah,
Dugongs.
Beware went crazy here.
Because I really thought that like when it's like a slow and bulky mon, but even then like so I think I was telling Becca yesterday that I was like, are you gonna do the Iron Head flinch? He's like, nope, and lives on a sash.
Yep. I think also like
Mm-hmm.
Beware is definitely you want a nice. Plus, yeah, Iron Crown was be a good counter to Beware, but that died too before Beware hit the field.
Yep, indeed. Oh man. So are you participating in season 5.5, Alex?
I haven't decided yet.
Okay.
I think I will. Paldea Dex isn't my favorite format,
Mm-hmm.
but I think, playing with the people here is fun. That's probably worth it.
Yeah. No. Yeah. I haven't decided. I'm also haven't decided, but I think what's nice about Dex is that there will be less broken mons overall, and I'm curious to see how this Wi-Fi league goes because it's something that we have never done as far as like a draft league. So we shall see how that goes. Um, so I guess like I'll just have two more questions so we. I'm not keeping you around too late because it's almost
Oh,
like
you're
9
good.
o'clock. Um, so since you are champion, any words of encouragement or like advice you have for draft league players, regardless of their skill level?
Oh God. Um, get lucky. No.
Get a
I
lottery
mean,
ticket.
I'm memeing, but also kind of like just get lucky. What's stopping you? No, I shouldn't say that. Um, I mean, the generic advice that I would give to anyone
Mm-hmm.
with draft is, just have fun with it. Try your best, but have fun. At the end of the day, that's what we're all here for. Um, and kicking yourself over a loss is not going to improve your enjoyment of draft, or maybe even your ability in draft. Um, Draft, and also I'd say draft a team you're comfortable with. As we saw in Wellspring, as we've seen in other leagues, that the teams that are most powerful on paper are not always the ones that make it to the finals and win the championship. Um, I mean, having a strong, varied team is really powerful and really good in draft, but being able to pilot the team and use it to its full potential is probably the most important thing, I would say.
Yeah, no, I think that's great advice, and like you said, with regards to like power rankings, they really show you that they're really not necessarily um indicative of like how a team will perform in the end, and people can like really be surprised in draft league. Like obviously, like I honestly like what you said. Back to luck, luck can play a role, in that like surprises and things like that can work to your favor, but it's still something that plays a role in fortune RNG and everything. Um, so I guess this will be my last question. So anything you want to say to your your fans of the Cambridge Camerupts after your first title?
I would say thank you for sticking it through all this time, um, where we didn't bring home a title. We finally did it. The hard work has paid off. Um, what else do I want to say then? Wait, hold on. I have to see, what does the GIF say?
Sure.
10 out of 10, camera up, do the stompy stomp or whatever. Spam camera up GIFs. There's a lot of fun ones on Discord. The camera up review GIFs. 8 out of 10, he do the little stompy stomp.
Love it.
GIFs are fun. If you don't use GIFs, what are you doing?
Yep, I'm definitely pro GIF in regards to draft league, among or anything in general, as long as there's a GIF for it. but
Mm-hmm.
but no sus Pokemon. I won't post GIFs of sus Pokemon. I refuse to.
Poor Gardevoir.
Yep, and a certain cat,
Oh,
certain cat,
is
certain.
Meow Meow also in that situation now?
I believe so.
Oh God.
I hate to say that, Anyways, but thank you for your time, Alex. Look forward to seeing your future performances, and I hope you had a fun time in interviewing today.
I did. Thank you, TJ. Thanks a lot for running these. I hope I'm speaking for everyone when I say that.
Yeah, it's always a fun thing to do. But
Mm-hmm.